VERDANSK has finally returned to Warzone, and you know what that means. I got you guys with a fresh new set of graphic settings for the new map for my console community. That's right, anyone playing on a console, whether it's PS4, PS5, Xbox One, or Series X, can have their game going from this washed down foggy look to this much more crisp and sharp image. Not to mention better colors and vibrance. So if you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to drop a like on today's video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I always post tips and tricks videos like this for players of all sorts. And I'll have timestamps throughout the video so you can skip around. Before we hop into all the settings, if you guys are struggling with FPS or internet in Warzone, you should check out LagoFast. LagoFast is an easy to use software for both console and PC that allows you to get bot lobbies and boost both FPS and ping in Warzone. And while skill-based matchmaking has been tweaked after the Season 3 update for VERDANSK, LagoFast has already updated their services for the new map. In the easy lobby feature of LagoFast software, you can choose from many different servers, all with low ping unlike normal VPNs, allowing you to get bot lobbies without sacrificing latency at all. LagoFast also provides a latency and ping boost feature that allows you to greatly reduce your ping and stuttering in Warzone, which is definitely going to be helpful since these servers are going to be very busy after Season 3. Here's a before and after of me using the boost feature. It's literally a day and night difference. They have a free trial so you can check it out for yourself, and if you like it, you can use code Duper for 30% off at checkout. There will be a link in the description as always. Alrighty guys, starting off in the gamma/brightness section, you can find this in the graphic settings, and keep in mind that I am currently on PC, but you can find these settings in console, and these are calibrated for console players. I would actually record this on my console, however I cannot find the cable to my capture card, so I'm just going to do it on PC for now. But I recommend you guys have your gamma set to 50. This is going to be a great middle ground to allow you to have good contrast, but also have good brightness. Now if you guys feel like this is a little too dark and you want a bit more, I would say you can turn it up to about 60. Don't go any higher than that. Anything higher than 60 I feel like is just not worth it. You're going to end up making everything look too bright. It's going to look washed like I showed in the beginning of the video. Turning the brightness up is going to eliminate the rich colors and just make everything look all kind of washed and bland and weird. So make sure you guys have your gamma down low. Basically just use the 1, 2, and 3 boxes to sort of measure how much brightness you have. Those are always good tools to go by. But for me personally, I think 50 to 55 is a pretty sweet spot. I usually just do 50. Now, of course, we have our field of views turned up all the way to 120. This is going to give you the most amount of like range when it comes to your eyes. You can see the most. You guys can turn this on if you guys want to, but if you guys want to be able to see as much as possible, playing 120 is the best. Now they do have a motion reduction preset. You guys can turn this on if you want to, but I'm just going to go through everything so you guys know exactly what I'm using. ADS field of view I have set to affected, and my weapon field of view is set to default. I rolled and weapon motion blur is set off. This is just really bad. It gives me a lot of motion sickness. If you guys are experiencing that, make sure you guys turn these off as well. And also first person and third person camera movement I have set to the least amount, which is 50%. It's going to make it to where the game doesn't shake as much when you're running around or if you're getting hit by a precision strike, which is really helpful because it can be really hard to aim at people if your screen's just shaking all over the place. So make sure you guys lower this all the way down to 50%. Also, inverted flashbang is a pretty cool feature. I like it a lot. Basically, you're not going to get blinded whenever you get flashbanged. Instead, your screen's just going to turn dark, which is a great swap in my opinion. And moving over to the interface settings, if you guys go over to the gameplay HUD, you can mess around with some of the more important things in my opinion, like the minimap shape. Make sure this is square and not round. You're going to get more range in the minimap since it's going to be a square and you have the corners versus just having the circle. You can also play around with your crosshair, which I recommend you guys do. Now, I'm not going to, tell you guys exactly which one to use. You guys can choose that. You have plenty of different, crosshairs you can choose from, and also different colors you can have them as. I'm just going to let you guys know that you can change this. You can change it whatever you want. There really is no perfect crosshair. Now, they recently added the widget visibility section, which you can actually turn down certain things on your screen if you guys want to have less visual noise. Totally playing around with this. I don't really mess with this too much because I don't mind most of the stuff on the screen. But if you guys don't like certain things, you guys can just turn it all the way down and completely remove it. Now, in readability, you guys can play around with the color customization, which I recommend you guys do because this is going to affect quite a bit on how the game looks for you, not just for your HUD, but also for the actual world. So objects like, cars, the ground, buildings, you can actually change those with the color filter settings. Right here, I have mine set to color filter number 2, and the color filter target is on the world. I'm not actually colorblind, so I don't want the actual HUD to be changed, because if you do interface or both, it's going to make it to where the interface is, going to be different colors. And if you guys didn't already know, you guys can change your actual, HUD color palette, manually if you guys want to have certain things different. So if you want to have you as, I don't know, red or very dark red, you guys can. This goes for every element in the game. Now, some of the previous videos, you guys are saying that some of these things don't exist in console. I have screenshots right here showing you guys all these settings. These are on console. This is not just a PC thing. Just make sure you search through the settings thoroughly to find them. Like I said, the color settings are in viewability. All the HUD interface settings are in gameplay HUD, and then you can change around with some telemetry stuff in the global section. But you guys don't have access to all the things the PC has access to, obviously. Now, moving over to what I think is the most effective way to change the way your game looks in any sort of way, which is your monitor settings. Now, I did want to save this part for the end of the video, only because this takes quite a bit of assembly, and I don't want to just, bog you guys down with how you guys can do things verbally without showing you guys. So I went through all the easy stuff in the beginning, but if you guys do want to make your game look really colorful and also add some contrast, some sharpness, and all that, you guys definitely should check out your monitor settings or your TV settings depending on what you play on. Now, a disclaimer I want to say real quick is that you guys all aren't going to have the exact same settings, and certain things might be named differently, so you will have to sort of evaluate what things are which, or if you even have those settings. But I actually use LG monitors, if you guys are wondering, which is Ultra Gear, and I have all the settings I'm going to talk about in today's video. First things first is your color settings, or your color vibrance, your saturation. There's many different names for it, but I have mine set to around 75. And if you guys are wondering how my game looks so colorful, that's exactly why. Well, I mean, for you guys, I'm just using, in-game filters so you guys can actually see what I have. But for me, the game's very colorful. And yes, this is very possible on console. This is not just PC. These are not NVIDIA filters. In fact, I never play with NVIDIA filters ever. So if you guys have color settings, definitely tweak around with it. I highly recommend it. Also, sharpness. Do not over sharpen your game. If you guys do have a sharpness setting in your monitor, I see a lot of people do that and the game looks really grainy. I try to keep my sharpness around, maybe like 50 to 60%, similar to brightness. The game already has fidelity, so I usually just use that instead of the sharpness on the monitor, and it works pretty well. Now, I think the most important thing that you can actually do when it comes to your game looking washed is adding contrast. A lot of people don't know about this, but contrast is basically the opposite of brightness. It's going to help bring down that foggy, look and just make it look a lot more crisp. And the darker colors more darker and the lighter colors more lighter. Just much better in general. So if you guys have a contrast setting, I recommend you guys actually just, tweak that by the eye. Just look at it. Increase it as you guys want. If you guys want to have a lot of contrast, you guys can. If you guys don't want to have a lot of contrast, you guys don't have to. That's something that I would say is more personal preference. But the contrast on the video right now is actually set to 75. I have quite a bit of contrast. It definitely, like I said, helps the game look less washed, because especially back in the OG days of VERDANSK, and even now, the game looks washed by default. It just does. This is how Warzone looks. It's normal. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm giving you guys the graphic settings. Then you have certain settings like gamma. You guys might see that on your monitor. I recommend you guys leave that alone. Most of the brightness settings you guys can control within the game, and gamma is just going to make everything look brighter, similar to like black equalization, which I also recommend you guys don't really mess with. I don't use black equalization at all. I feel like it's just not very good. It doesn't really make things look brighter. In fact, if it does make things look brighter, it makes everything look brighter, like I said before, and nothing actually becomes more visible. So therefore, I just leave that alone. And like I said, I have Ultra Gear monitors, and I feel like even on the Ultra Gear monitors, it just doesn't work very well. So yeah. But that right there is everything I have for today's video. If you guys have any questions at all, be sure to comment them down below. I will probably go into a more depth guide on the monitor settings that I use, actually showing you guys my monitor and the settings and how effective they work for me. But I just wanted to briefly touch upon it because a lot of you guys are wondering how I get my game to look so good, and I definitely can't leave out the fact that my monitor settings is probably the #1 reason why. But with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, love, and understanding always.